Well, we got a phone call this morning about a car that broke a gas tank in a parking lot at a daycare center. And I was about a half hour out, and I received a phone call that the person had heard of the Spillenex product, and she wanted to find out if we would be able to come out and clean up and help out in the gas. The situation, it turns out that here in Pennsylvania last night we received about 4 inches of snow. And so it's a pretty wet condition. Temperature's about 47 degrees, so everything's melting. And what's tended to happen is the gasoline has run throughout the parking lot into the puddles in with the snow and whatnot. So what I'm going to try to attempt to do here is clean up this mess utilizing both the Oilinator mat, the Oilinator boom, as well as Spillenex powder product. So I will take some pictures here and send those to you here in a few minutes. Thanks. As you can see, there's a lot of sheen, rainbowing from the gasoline. There was about 10 gallons that broke out of her gas tank and spilled throughout this parking lot, and as it's run down through the water, it's quite a mess. And I think that the Oilinator and the Spillenex products will be perfect for this application and cleaning this up. What I've done so far is I'm going to attempt to absorb as much of the gasoline utilizing the 30 by 38 inch mat from Monarch Green, the Oilinator. I've also deployed one of our 5 inch by 10 foot booms, 6 inch by 10 foot booms, in order to help aid in stopping any more flow, as there is a slight grade to this parking lot. And as the snow and the water melts and through the cleanup process, I want to prevent any more rundown, which would potentially run into the front lawn or out into the road. As you can see, I've gone ahead and started cleaning up with the Oilinator mat. It's working, it's absorbing it out of the puddles. Then I've also gone and taken some of the Spillenex, applied it to the less saturated water areas, but there's still quite a bit of sheen. I've dumped about 3.5 pounds of Spillenex onto the spill area, and I'm going to go ahead and attempt to sweep this up now and go ahead and get this cleaned up. We were successfully able to stop the flow into the other parts of the area, parking lot, street, yard, etc. And being a daycare, there's plenty of children here, and the smell is quite strong from the gasoline. As you can see, the Spillenex and the Oilinator have gone to work. They've cleaned up most of the sheen, most of the gasoline. Now there's just a little bit of cleanup that I have to do in the parking lot to get the rest of the Spillenex up. What I did do, I noticed, was I saturated my Spillenex, since I only put about 3.5 pounds down. And so I cut a couple sections of the boom open and utilized the Spillenex that was actually inside that. The Oilinator mat, I'm sitting there to absorb in a puddle most of the gasoline. I can leave the water, but I need to absorb the petroleum products that are in the water right now. The job's almost complete now. As you can see, I've taken a small area and boomed it off. This has water and a little bit of leftover gasoline in it. The boom will work as a barrier that I can sweep the remnant into as I'm cleaning it up with my dustpan and disposing of the absorbent with the gasoline into a bucket. I'm also going to help aid my time by placing my 30 by 38 mat into the puddle to work in concordance with the boom. What that's going to do is effectively give me double the power to absorb any of that gasoline. As we know, Spillenex and Oilinator is not going to absorb the water, so my goal here is primarily to allow the product to absorb as much of the gasoline as possible, and I'm not going to worry as much about the water. As you can see, we've been able to successfully clean up the gas spill here at the daycare center in the parking lot. We used the Spillenex and the Oilinator's mats, pads, and the booms. And it's done quite a job. Unfortunately, I don't have a power washer to clean it all up with, but for the most part, everything has been contained, absorbed, and properly disposed of. The daycare center is now safe and free of any gas petroleum spills here in the parking lot, and we are safe and good to go home. Thank you very much to Monarch Green, Spill & X, Oilinator, and the flexible booms.